things real estate, money, money matters. All things real estate, money, money matters. Hi, welcome to our channel where we talk all things real estate and money, money matters. If you are new to our channel, welcome. And for those of you that are returning viewers, thanks so much for your support and welcome back. This is Module 4 of mini-series of Real Estate Investing 101 for Beginners. For those of you that do not know me, I'm LaTanya Knox, CEO of Fort Knox Realty and Fort Knox Property Management. I have over 20 years experience in the real estate industry, working with investors and investing. So with all of that being said, let's get started. This is Module 4 of mini-series to come. If you have not watched Module 1 through 3, I welcome you to do so. You will probably want to do that because Module 1 through 3 explains the buy and hold strategy, which is reoccurring passive income. Now, it's very important that you watch those prior modules so that you can identify exactly what your investment strategy should be, understand the pros and cons, risk benefits of doing so. That way you can make a very informed decision on which investment strategy you would like to pursue. What is the fix and flip strategy? It's simple. You purchase a property, you renovate it, and then you sell it for a profit. Now, when you're looking for a property, typically investors are looking for properties that are heavily discounted. They are looking for properties that have been abandoned. They're looking for properties that owners couldn't afford to pay the taxes, the insurance on it, that's about to possibly lose it, maybe going into foreclosure on the property. They're also looking for properties where maybe a family member inherited this property due to a death of some sort, and now they have a property that they do not want. So they want to just sell it real quick because they feel it's a burden and they just want to make some quick cash off of it. These are the type of properties that most investors are looking for. Or they may even look for a property that I think you all probably are familiar. We buy ugly homes, right? Literally, investors are looking for ugly homes that the average person would not want to purchase. Okay. And those are the properties that you usually are looking for when you're exercising the fix and flip strategy. With the fix and flip strategy, there are a couple things that's very important for you to take in consideration. One is your financing. Typically, investors, if you are not a cash investor and you're a beginning investor with no cash, you're going to be looking for financing. The type of financing that you'll probably, depending on which investment strategy, strategy you go with, whether it's what we call a soft flip or a hard flip or a medium rehab flip. It really depends on which one you're going with, right? If you're going with somewhat what we call a soft flip, then you will probably be able to possibly get away with a conventional loan if you have that 20% to put down. Now, any event that the home needs, a lot of repairs that the typical conventional loan would not finance, then you're going to have to get creative, right? Because those homes, a lot of the fix and flip type homes will not qualify for a conventional loan. And of course, with conventional loans, you have credit scores that you must meet, right? Whereas with the hard money or private money, not so much. So a lot of investors tend to go with hard money lenders, and they also either go with private money. Now, when you're going with a hard money lender or private money, they usually have requirements. Most of those requirements, I'm sorry, please forgive me. They have requirements, and most requirements are that you must meet the 70% rule. Now, there are some hard money lenders that require that you meet a 65% rule. And I will go deeper into that so that you can understand exactly what that rule consists of. But just in general, the 70% rule says that an investor should pay no more than 70% of the after value minus cost of renovating the properties. Now, Don't get it? That's okay. We're going to go deeper into it so that way you can understand it. So let's walk through exactly what that looks like. Now, this right here is an example of how you would calculate the 70% rule and make sure that your property falls in line with the expectations of the lender. So, again, just so that you understand your formula, it is after repair value, which is also known as ARV, times 0.70 minus the estimated repair cost equals the price that you should pay for the property. Okay? Now, or of course, that's the maximum price, should I say. Obviously, if you can pay less for it, then that's even better. But when we do this calculation, this is the maximum price that you should pay for that property. So let's do some actual numbers so that it makes sense. Let's say the after repair value is $300,000. Okay. And that's where you obviously then got with a real estate agent or a professional, or you know exactly how to read comps. And you established that the after repair value would be $300,000. Now, the next thing you would want to do is have your contractor go into the home, give you a great estimate on exactly what that cost would look like. And let's say it came back at $65,000. So let's look at step one. Step one, you would take the $300,000 after repair value, times it by the multiplier of 0.70, and you would get $210,000. Now, of course, we said you have to minus the estimated repairs. So now you would take $210,000 minus the $65,000, and that would give you $145,000. $145,000 is the maximum purchase price you should consider paying for that property. Okay? Now, in this particular scenario, right? Or you would obviously want to pay less. But, and then of course, if you have a situation where, let's say your private lender is saying, nope, your after repair multiplier is 65, then you would do everything the same, except instead of multiplying it by 70, you would do it by 65. Okay? Because there are some lenders that want you to utilize the 65% as your multiplier. Okay? All right, so let's talk about the pros of the fix and flip strategy. Now, the first thing that everybody loves is the profit. There is high potential for great profit. Okay? Now, another thing is the immediate equity. We call this also forced appreciation because, as you know, if you're looking to invest, you're automatically, in order to meet, the 70% rule, right? You are looking for properties that you're going to get instant equity in, right? So that is always a great thing because that is the equity that gives you your profit. The other thing is there's less competition in this arena because everyone cannot do the fix and flip strategy because it has a very steep learning curve. Okay. So with that being said, you have less competition in the market when you're doing this. Now, the other thing is, as I said before, it's a pro and a con, in my opinion, is that it has a very steep learning curve. But the great thing about it is that you gain a lot of experience when you exercise the fix and flip strategy. Okay. And that's because it has so many moving parts to it. When you're flipping, you have to stay on top of everything and make sure that you are on top of your game because you have to learn a lot. But to me, that's a great benefit because, once you become you train yourself or you go out and learn, you're very knowledgeable in those areas too. So you learn and gain a lot of experience, and that's a plus for you. But I can tell you that you're going to learn a lot about, probably more than you ever want to know, about construction. You'll learn from the point of blueprinting, how to actually lay out a home. You'll understand the engineering, actually dealing with the foundation. You're going to learn zoning, permitting, what setbacks mean, right? You're going to learn a lot. Not only that, you'll also learn to understand the market, right? Because you have to do your market research and understand the market that you're actually going to invest in. You also must understand the needs of the buyer, because at the end of the day, in order for you to execute on your plan, you must understand that end buyer needs, because that buyer is the person that's going to deliver you your paycheck. So it is extremely important that you understand their needs, so that when you're constructing or you're renovating a property, you're meeting those needs. The other thing is you're just going to learn about business, period, right? Transacting business, you're going to learn about contract selling, dealing with the closing attorney, title searches, just a lot. You're going to learn a lot about real estate laws. So to me, that's awesome, right? Maybe not so much. I'm not sure. Just depends on what you think. But for the most part, I think it's a benefit. Now, let's talk a little bit about the cons. One of the things about the cons is that it's not quick. Okay? You're not going to get money like that overnight, because there is time involved in the renovations. And depending on the type of flip, it could take anywhere from a month to 6 months, right? So it's not quick money. It takes time. Now, the other thing is it's not cheap. The private lenders, though they may not look at your credit score, and some of them just base it on experience, and whether you have it or not, they do expect you to put some skin in the game. So with that being said, you do have to bring money to the table. Now, I understand that there are a lot of people that tell you about financing that's available where you don't really have to put a lot of skin or bring money to the table. I can tell you the ones that I came across where I had investors that went with those programs, they were asking them to find a needle in the haystack. They wanted them to find homes where they had 60 to 50% equity in a property before they could actually would approve for them to move forward. That is like finding a needle in a haystack. It's already hard to find properties that meet that 70% rule. When you're talking about a rule of looking for 40% or 50% equity in a property, that's hard. Now, is it available? Is it out there? Yeah, somewhere in that haystack, but it's hard to find. So for the most part, the hard money lender that you use, you're going to have skin in the game, which means you're going to typically invest anywhere, probably, I would say, depending on the property cost and what you're going after. It could be anywhere from, let's say, $20,000 to, it can go as high as maybe $50,000, in some cases higher. It really just depends. I will be doing a video during this series where I go deeper into that side of it. So I'm not going to go deep into it right now, but just know that it's not cheap. You will have to put some skin in the game. The other thing is the market fluctuates constantly. You must stay on top of the market. Just to kind of give you an idea, even with the pandemic, right? It kind of got a little rocky for a moment when everything went on shutdown. Investors had property that they had put out there. Buyers wasn't coming out because we were on lockdown. So a lot of them had to hold the property. Well, when you have to hold the property, most of them, the loans that you have with private money is interest only. So you're paying money and you're not able to sell it. So now you got holding costs that's accumulating, right? And thankfully, the market turned, and all of a sudden, the seller market just kind of just went up and went crazy. And now it was great for that investor that actually had the property and had to hold on to it for a moment. But just know that the market changes. And as you all know, right now, there's talks that we're going into a recession. No one really knows how that's going to hit the housing market. And guess what? At one time, that investor might have been looking at, I'm going to be able to get $450,000 out of this home when he started his renovations maybe 2-3 months ago when interest rates were good. But look where we're at now. And all of a sudden, everything is starting to come down, right? So by time he may have another 2 months left, well, 2 more months, that's 2 more rate hikes, which then could make this market look totally different. That 450 that investor was expecting to get, that 450 could very well all of a sudden look like a 350, a 375. Okay, which means that they may have thought they were going to earn, profit 100,000, and now that 100,000 looks more like 50 or look like 65. You just don't know. But the market fluctuates constantly, and those are risks that you have to take in consideration, and it can impact you significantly or not. The next one is finding a good deal. Finding a good deal is harder than you think. A lot of you may think, oh, that should be pretty easy to go find a property, a stressed property or distressed property, or for some of you that may want to do light flips, those are harder to find. To be quite honest, it's easier to find maybe a hard flip where you got to do a full renovation than it is to find your medium to your light flip, because it's very hard to find where, and in this current market where it's a seller market, where a buyer is going to give you 30% equity in their property. So the first thing is finding that good deal. So that can be a con, and it can take a minute for you to do so. You want to make sure that you pair up with a real estate agent, or let's say an investor-friendly real estate agent that knows how to, analyze the deal for you and make sure that the deal makes sense and meets your criteria. Another thing is wholesalers will probably be one of your best friends, right? To try to see if you can find a good deal with that. Or for that matter, you can go to cold calling, right? Where you get out there, knock on some of those doors, or cold call, skip trace, and all those great things that you need to do in order to find that great deal. All right. And I'll be doing a video later on during this series as well, going deeper into what that looks like. Now, the other thing is you must prepare yourself for stress, right? So go ahead and get that ball, whatever it is you need to be able to handle the stress that comes with it. You're going to need woosah moments, because flipping a home can be very stressful. And the reason it's stressful is because no matter how many flips you do, there's always something new that you get to encounter that you never experienced. That it's a learning, right? You take the learning from it, right? To make sure that you kind of be more prepared for the next flip. But with flipping, there are always new learning. And with the things that you learn comes a lot of stress, okay? Especially contractor doesn't show up, okay? Or contractor runs off with your money. It happens, okay? Property gets broken into 4, 5, 6 times. It happens. Okay. So just know that there are a lot of things that you may not be expecting that could come up, and it will truly stress you out if you allow it. But at the end of the day, you have to keep your eyes on the target and remember exactly what you need to do. Take care of it quickly and get back on track. Don't let it deter you and take you away from the goal, because there are a lot of things that will make you just stress out and will just want to say, I'm done, I give up. Okay. Now, the other thing is fix and flips are very risky. But as I said before, any investment is risky. The higher the risk, typically the higher the rewards. So you have to decide what level of risk you're able to handle and deal with, right? And be happy with the profit and the rewards that it'll bring from that. Okay. Now, some of the things that are really risky, as I said before, there are a lot of unanticipated costs that you have to make sure that you allow for. And, things that you want to make sure that you do include, but, lawn care, landscaping, if it's in an environment where it's snow removal. Again, like I say, someone breaking into your home, taking your plumbing, taking out your HVAC system. Whatever it is, you want to be prepared for it. The other thing is a lot of investors forget to add in the cost for the tax increase. When you purchase the property, let's say in an area where the home may be very distressed, right? Now, the current shape of that home, the taxes could be $350 or $600 or whatever annually. Once you actually renovate the property and bring it up to, let's say, your $300,000 value or whatever, you have to remember that your taxes will go up. So you could go from, let's say, a $600 tax bill easily to maybe a $3,000, a $4,000, or even more. Just depends on the area you're in. So you have to keep that in mind as far as the taxes, property taxes. The other thing is your holding costs. Be aware that the time that the home is vacant, as I was saying, keeping the lawn up, you have to, as far as your advertising, the time that it's actually vacant, because when you have a private loan or a hard money loan, every day you have to look at it as a dollar loss that you have to hold the property in your possession. Okay. It eats into your profit. So the quicker you sell, the more you make. The longer you hold it, the more it costs. And you'll find, especially if you hold a property longer than the time of 12 months, if you hold a property longer, then you're going into a balloon payment, okay, which sometimes can be up to double. So it's a lot of things you want to make sure you take in consideration as far as your holding cost. The other thing is capital gains tax. Understand that you will get hit with a capital gain tax. Just depending on how long, but whatever your profit is, it will be subject to capital gain taxes. Capital gain rates will vary depending on, whether you own the property for less than a year, more than a year, and different things like that. So you will probably want to consult with a CPA so that you can understand the impact from that perspective. Just so that you understand your common residential fix and flip types. One of them is the soft flip, or, you may have some people relate to it as light rehab. Whenever you have a soft flip, light rehab, that's typically where you take a property and you renovate it, and the repairs are just cosmetic. The repairs usually are $20,000 or less, right? All you're doing is going in, you may be painting the home, maybe take the cabinets, stain them, put some new hardware on them, replace the carpet, refinish the floors. Outside exterior is usually in okay condition, where you might just do some cutting the grass, trim the bushes, and things like that, but no real work to be done to the home. Okay, that would be typically what you call your your light rehab flip. Now, the other type of flip that you'll have is what we call the medium flip. Okay, the medium rehab, medium flip, typically that repairs can range from $20,000 to $80,000. Now, what that usually consists of is where now we're talking, a little bit more extensive type repairs, right? You will probably have to remodel the bathroom and the kitchen. Okay, instead of just staining the cabinets, you need to replace the cabinets. Okay, you may go in and there's some tile work you need to do in the bathroom, replace the tub, replace the sink, renovate the whole kitchen, and then add stainless steel appliances. You may be upgrading to put granite countertops, things like that. And then on the exterior, you're probably looking at some gutter work, possibly some siding. You may have to replace a few bricks, some trim work. But pretty much it just really depends. But that's usually about where it's at. You may even have to possibly do a major repair, like possibly a new roof or a HVAC system or condenser or something along those bases. Now, when you're doing a hard flip is what we call a full rehab, hard flip for full rehab. That's basically where the cost can be anywhere from $80,000 and up. And it really depends on the size, the condition, the scope of work. All of that will impact your bottom line and your renovation budget. Now, these type of repairs can be anything. Okay, nothing left out. Any type of repair you can think of in a home could possibly be in that full rehab. And I'm gonna be honest with you. A lot of times, builders tend to, or let them say your contractors, in some cases, investors invest in properties where you take it all the way down to the ground. We've actually had a renovation where it was taken all the way down to the ground, and the only thing left standing was the actual chimney. Okay, just the fireplace and the chimney. Okay, so it just really depends. With those type of repairs, they're very extensive. It can be like a full demo, right, where you got to just knock everything down and then just rebuild it totally back up. You're talking about framing, siding, windows, full HVAC system, the ductwork, everything, full electrical where the whole house is rewired, all new plumbing, all new roofing. Okay, so when you're talking about a hard flip, we're talking about you need to make sure you are experienced and skilled, and you have a skilled team. Now, you usually can make a nice profit, but you can also lose in that game as well. Okay, and lose a lot of money. So it's really, really important that if you take on a project that big and that extensive, that you are experienced and know what you're doing. Or if you're not experienced, you at least have someone that's assisting and helping you that is experienced. Okay, and one of which is usually your general contractor that you'll probably hire to do the job. Okay, and it must be a trusted one, because that's a whole nother video. All right. And then another type of fix and flip type strategy is where wholesaling, right? Because they have wholesaling where you don't really have to renovate it. Some wholesalers might do light renovations if they do anything. And then you have some that just don't do anything. All they do is take it, put it under contract, and then assign it to another investor for a profit, and then they're done. You also have the double close strategy where you might buy the property from the seller, and then at the exact same time where you're buying, immediately after, you close with the new investor that's purchasing it. Okay, so those are kind of your different fix and flip type strategies. And we're going to go deeper into each one of those a little bit more extensive in our next video, which would be module 5. Okay, so that you can understand them in more detail. Now, and then also help you to understand the pitfalls that you want to make sure that you watch out for. So we basically have identified 7 common pitfalls that investors make, especially beginner investors, and actually some experienced ones too, where you're able to overcome that. So in our next video, I tell you, make sure you watch it. It's going to have some good information in there for you. Now, the bottom line is real estate investing, when it's done right, can be very profitable. The key word, done right. Okay. Make sure you do your homework. You understand the different levels of rehab, and basically make sure you understand the details of what you need to do. You need to make sure you understand the cost involved. I say get used to Excel and spreadsheets, because you need to be able to plug numbers in so that you have a clear picture on every level of every expense that will be involved in this, your fix and flip project, if you decide to utilize either of the strategies that we just talked about. Now, the other thing is just know potential profits can disappear quickly if you do it incorrectly or the unexpected happens. So you want to do everything you can to avoid your common pitfalls so that you have a better chance of coming out successful, right? And then getting that big paycheck reward. So just make sure you do your homework. I'll try to, like I said, that's the purpose of these series, is to help educate you, prepare you so that way if you want to go whatever strategy you decide to go on or route you take, I'm going to work through helping assist you with getting to the end goal, which is that paycheck. Okay, so that's what these videos are all about. Now, my next question is, what is your investment strategy? Want a little bit more information on fix and flip so that you can understand it a lot more and understand the pitfalls? Make sure that you tune in for our next video. All right. And the only thing I want you to remember is it's very important that if you need to come back to the videos, go back over them over and over and over again if need be, so that you can make sure that you are doing everything in your power to minimize your risk. Now, with that being said, please do not let this be you. And the way that you avoid it is by planning. With that being said, thank you so much. And this does conclude our session. And the only thing I ask is that you please like, share this video with anyone that you feel could benefit from it, and subscribe. And if you want to make sure that you get alerts every time we post a new module, make sure that you click that bell. This concludes our session for today. If you're interested in investing in Georgia, please check out our website for all your real estate needs. Thanks for watching. All things real estate, money, money matters. All things real estate, money, money matters.